What's up, everybody? It's Carpo here. Of course. The interesting parts of life, they're fun to record. And, like mental recordings of all the different phases that we go through in life and all the different philosophies that we hold. It's fun to look back as a kid and see some of the ideas that I held that I still hold today, and to acknowledge that and realize the good components of the things that I held, the good values from my youth that I carried on, and as well see some of the ones that I hang on to merely because they're programmed. Being able to acknowledge yourself and your own programming is, I think, one of the most important things to accomplish in this life. But at the same time, there's a degree that this programming that we all are well aware of, which is through just life experience. I'm not talking about parental programming or school programming. I'm just talking life programming, the things that, the preconceived notions and the opinions and biases that we have, that some of them are beneficial. I hear a lot of people today talk about breaking away from the programming, and that, everyone is a slave and a fool. And I think that some of these people leave the program so far that they forget how to get with the program, if you will. That they're missing just the life, to live the life of a human, to be a person, and to exist in a community where we all have to accept each other's differences. And I found people tend to attack others when confronted with opposition to what they believe. This is why I don't join groups, because when you join a group, you instantly end up standing up for that group, even when some of the ideas being propagated are not necessarily beneficial to the whole. And I've noticed this pattern of people, like commenting on YouTube, being the devil's advocate that I am, metaphorically, I like to sometimes speak a little bit of rational skepticism towards some of the conspiracy theories that I once thought were true or held dear. Or to say that maybe things aren't so cut and dry or black and white. And I've noticed that the resulting backlash is usually people claiming, like if a person speaks and says maybe it's not so bad, they're instantly ignorant, or that they're programmed, they're unaware. Every single person, it seems, who doesn't fully come out with their fists swinging towards these big injustices are instantly considered part of the problem. Say an example might be taxes. Say there's a big group who's opposed to taxes. Let's say I came in and had a comment that said, well, some tax may be necessary. No, it's cut and dry for a lot of people. Now, some people can see past that and understand rationally, yes, taxes are a part of society. Sure, it'd be nice not to have them. And sure, it'd be nice to be able to pay them on our own honesty. But the reality is that we live in this world. So it's not necessarily that you have to approve of them, but just to say this is the way we live now. And instantly you're attacked as being, a programmed, a fool, which is fine. And I don't stick my neck out too much on the big conspiracy issues or the banking cartels or occult knowledge, because there's too many strongly conflicting opinions and no resolution. This is where I've decided to kind of just lay my energy somewhere else rather than trying to battle it out with people. I've noticed that folks like to make character attacks, personal character attacks, on somebody who is maybe voicing their own opinion that goes against the group. And this is one of the things that there's a large group of people saying that we need to break away from this programming and we need to start to think for ourselves, think free, think. But then when somebody thinks outside their box, they're instantly called, they're being a program, they're a slave. But sometimes these people won't think outside of their box. It becomes a compounded problem, because this is where I come back to the groups. Because when you associate with a movement or a group, you have to support that movement in its entirety a lot of the time. For example, the Zeitgeist movement. Zeitgeist had a lot of great information, but not all of it was true. A lot of it was speculation, and a lot of it was just pointing the finger, basically, saying, look at what religion's done, look at what the government's done, look at all these problems that have been created, and then in the end they try to cram in the part two, a few solutions, because obviously people want solutions. This is why I've always despised people like Alex Jones, who claim to provide all this news, but all he really does is rants about nonsense that we can't resolve, and then battles over gun rights and whatnot, but never really finds any resolution to these problems. The society has some major issues, and some of us point the finger at the governments. Recently I've come to this Men Going Their Own Way group. I've seen them. They point the finger at women. You know, women are the evil. Feminism is the problem. So here's a whole men's group organized and dedicated to improving masculinity in men, yet removing feminism from women, to get women to be submissive, be good families. I've looked at the original charter for the people who started this organization, so I've seen their original goals and intentions, which was basically to form women around men's needs. And it's a selfish notion. This isn't just for them. This is for all groups. Every group wants to form society around their needs and their wants. They don't want to change. Everybody wants to do what they want. And if somebody else gets in the way of that, they're the enemy. Some of the laws that we have in this country are completely bogus. But a lot of these bogus laws have been voted in by the people. So the goal is to educate as many people as possible so we don't make bad decisions and vote bad bills in, vote bad, laws into effect. Marijuana would be a good example. We kept marijuana illegal for so long because we've been fed misinformation. Now that all the truth is coming out, that marijuana doesn't kill you or make you insane, people are able to, even some people who are very opposed to it are now, in support of it. Think of how many other issues, if they were as strongly backed up as marijuana, that came to light, that people would be able to say, okay, we've been lied to. But assuming that we're being lied to all the time is hard and dangerous, because we go down a fast path of suspicion. We start to suspect one another. Everybody else is part of some coalition or group against us. Some of these people become so delusional, like this one guy who claims that I'm a cult leader. He's attacked a bunch of people, and then there's other guys who say that anybody who talks about certain things is Satanist. Everybody wants to group people because it's easier. It's easier than assuming that there's actually people out here who think not outside the box, but not even shape related. Every thought that goes through my mind, I try to think, is this something that I have been taught? Or is this something is this something that's beneficial for the situation? Is there any way I can make it better? Is there anything I can do to help not make the same mistakes next time? See? I consider myself a pretty rounded individual. I'm in control of my emotions generally, but I'm human, and I still embrace, what it is to be human, which is, I don't go around seeking trouble. Let's say YouTube, I don't go around from video to video trying to find things I oppose in order to talk shit about them. Sometimes if a person comes to one of my videos and they start talking shit, then I'll try to be courteous as possible. And then as the conversation progresses, they'll throw more and more insults. And so finally I'll throw one insult back at them. Instantly I'm the bad guy. Instantly I'm the one who is out there trying to tell people they're wrong. And people forget where they are. It's like going into a church and arguing with the Christians because you're a Jew and you're in their church. It's that kind of thing. I may not be in a group, but I'm in a community of thinkers. people who are all on their own different pages in life, you know. So many of the people that I've met, you know, on YouTube are great people, you know. It's like Queen Bee and Stray Dog, you know, they both always have really great comments. They have tact, you know, when to speak and what to say and what not to say. But they're on their own paths. Like Archaic, I still love you, Eric. There's so many different ideas that we have, different opinions from each other, and things that we find of interest. But I don't belittle anything that he's learning, because it's something that we can all learn from each other. We can't expect everybody to be on the same page as us at the same time. And when we insult and belittle one another because we're not thinking the same as each other, it defeats the purpose. I've had friends that fade in and out of life because you're into the same thing at the same time, and you become parallel, you synchronize for a time. And I'll do this with people on YouTube too. You know, we'll be on the same page for a while, then I won't hear from them for a few months, then they'll pop back in. I know which subjects certain people are into, and you know, I'm not willing to cater what I do on these videos to any one particular idea, and that's why I have so many wide variety of different video subjects, because I try to open up to every different idea. Now, there shouldn't be anything, to me, there's nothing that is too sacred to mention. There's nothing that is, what's the word that I'm looking for? I hate it when I can't find the word that I'm looking for. But there's nothing out there that is actually too hardcore to confront or talk about, to me. And everything needs to be brought out into the light and discussed. But it has to be discussed rationally. It has to be discussed respectfully. So even if someone has an opinion that's totally different from ours, if we approach that by calling them names and attacking totally irrelevant things about them, such as, you look like this, or one of your other videos was talking about this, or you believe in this God, or you believe in that, or you're this color, you're that color, you're this or that sex. Rather than looking at the person, look at the actual information that's being conveyed. And I try. A lot of the times it's just nonsense, but people want it to make sense. And I don't see eye to eye with some people, and so I'm willing to speak my mind when that happens. And you know, I feel like some people don't want to make waves because they're afraid of character attacks or personal attacks. So that's fine, I respect that, but I don't give a shit. You can attack me all you want, because being who I am and knowing who I am, I'm a very happy person. I have my hardships, I have my eases, I have my good and bad days. I've got a great loving family, 3 wonderful children, and I'm grateful for everything that I have. And I try to remember that just because I am here with this position in life, and this status, this situation, whatever you want to call it, doesn't mean that I don't understand other people's situations can be rough sometimes. And that some people's opinions aren't necessarily their own, but rather brought on by the hardships that we've endured. So hopefully we can do better. Hopefully we learn to get along. And but until then, you know, we have to speak our minds and speak the way we truly feel, so people know. That's what life's all about, right? Peace out, everybody.